Todd Monken just dropped a bombshell on Browns QB battle. Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson. In Cleveland's April 2026 OTAs, the quarterback room suddenly feels more like a pressure cooker than a practice field. Todd Monken didn't just comment, he opened the door to a full-blown QB competition that could reshape the Browns' future. And when names like Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders start getting measured in the same breath, everything changes.
What we got into for sure. I mean, each day they're going to gain more and more information of what we do and what we expect. I was fired up. I mean, I thought all three guys were bright-eyed, wanting to learn. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start in that QB room. There's enough there of all three. I mean, I think we'd all be able to say that. There's enough there to really like Deshaun, the way he plays. And there's enough there to really like the way Shedeur played at the back end of the year. And there's enough early in the year from Dylan that is playing the position at a very high level. So I don't see it as, it's been brought up a lot more to me than really what I think about. Other than, someone's going to have to start off first, and someone's going to go second, and someone's going to go third.
This isn't just reps anymore. This is about control, trust, and who the Browns really believe in when the season is on the line. Cleveland Browns begin their day 2 of voluntary workouts in April 2026, and on the surface it looks routine, almost forgettable. But inside the building in Berea, nothing about this feels normal anymore. Because every rep, every throw, every huddle is now being watched through a different lens. Not development, but evaluation. Todd Monken makes that clear from the very beginning. No hype, no favoritism, no waiting for the right moment, just competition. And that alone shifts everything. Deshaun Watson enters this quarterback room with experience, expectation, and a contract history that still follows him into every conversation. He's the established name, the proven starter, the player once expected to define this franchise's direction. But now, standing across from him is Shedeur Sanders, a younger, rising presence whose arrival has already changed the emotional temperature of the locker room. And then there's Dillon Gabriel, another layer in a quarterback room that suddenly doesn't feel like depth, it feels like a battlefield. Todd Monken doesn't try to soften it when asked about the QB situation. His tone is direct, almost surgical. He says, "We talking about quarterback?" No, not really, because there's enough there of all three. That one sentence hits differently because it removes hierarchy. It removes certainty. It removes the comfort of a QB1 and backups structure. Instead, Monken continues, someone's going to have to start off first, someone's going to go second, and someone's going to go third, and we'll be willing to switch that.
Oh, I really don't give a shit. I mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut. I mean, that's what I was trying to do. And then they moved the meeting. Now, you can blame that I should have been at the meeting when they moved it up and my ass would have known that's when it was. Yeah, okay, I got you. And was it disappointing? Bet your ass it was disappointing. Would my whole life to be a head coach? I'm not in the head coach's picture. You'd think with AI they could have done that quickly and got me in there. But no, it's the way it is. It'll be under the bridge, and what'll matter most is how we move from here and do we win or not. That ultimately, none of that will matter.
That's the phrase that changes everything inside Cleveland's QB room. Nothing is locked. Nothing is protected. Everything is movable. And suddenly, every practice snap becomes a vote. Every mistake becomes a statement. Every completion becomes leverage. The Browns aren't just preparing for a season anymore. They're quietly building a competition that could redefine their entire offensive identity. And as April workouts continue, one question starts hanging over every rep. Who is actually taking control of this team? If the first day set the tone, Todd Monken's full explanation of the quarterback battle confirmed what many in Cleveland didn't want to fully accept. This is not a stable depth chart. This is a rotating evaluation. And Monken doesn't hide behind coach speak when breaking it down. He points directly to what each quarterback brings to the table. He acknowledges Deshaun Watson's ability and experience. He recognizes Shedeur Sanders' late-season flashes and growth. He even mentions early-year contributions from Dillon Gabriel. But what matters most isn't reputation. It's execution under evaluation. Monken makes one thing extremely clear. Reps are not fixed. They can flip that any given day to how we see fit. That line echoes through the entire QB room philosophy. In most NFL systems, quarterbacks are given structure, a clear QB1, a developmental QB2, and a project QB3. But in Cleveland right now, structure is being replaced by fluid competition, and that creates something dangerous and powerful. Dangerous because quarterbacks don't develop in comfort. They develop in clarity. Constant uncertainty can shake confidence, but powerful because it forces truth to the surface. Monken doubles down on what actually matters beyond throws and reads. How they study, how they take care of their body, how they lead. Those are non-negotiables.
On a daily basis, what we see, just like any position, that's not set in stone. That's something we can flip, just like the practice face. We can flip that any given day to how we see fit that gives us the best chance to develop our players. Now, how they go about it, how they study, how they take care of their body, how they manage our team, how they lead, those are set in stone. Those are non-negotiables.
That's where the real QB battle begins, not in arm strength, not in highlight plays, but in habits, in leadership, in consistency when nobody is watching. And this is where Shedeur Sanders becomes a central talking point inside the building. Because according to the report from Cleveland's offseason sessions, Shedeur has been consistently present. Early arrivals, active engagement, learning the system under the new coaching structure. That matters in a competition where nothing is guaranteed. Watson's experience still carries weight, but experience alone is no longer the deciding factor. Monken shifts the entire evaluation lens toward one brutal truth. The best chance to score and win will define the starter. Not the biggest name, not the highest salary, not the draft story, just performance. And in that moment, the Browns' QB battle stops being theoretical. It becomes real. Once Monken's comments hit the public, the reaction is immediate and divided. Analysts begin breaking down every word, every pause, every implication. The discussion quickly centers on one idea. Is Cleveland quietly preparing for a transition at quarterback? Mel Kiper-style reactions emphasize something simple but explosive. If a young quarterback is being evaluated this closely in April, the organization might already be thinking long-term. The conversation shifts toward Shedeur Sanders almost instantly. Not officially named as QB1, not declared the future starter, but positioned in a way that keeps him in the center of attention. And that's where controversy begins to grow. Fans split into two emotional camps. One side argues stability. Deshaun Watson still represents the best chance for immediate success if he returns fully to form. The other side sees opportunity, a reset, a new identity, and a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders developing into the face of the franchise. And Monken's structure fuels both arguments, because when a coach says reps can flip daily, it signals uncertainty at the highest level. Every OTA clip becomes magnified. Every pass completion becomes social media debate. Every throw becomes a QB1 argument. Even small details matter now. Who is first in drills? Who leads huddles? Who reacts after mistakes? The pressure is no longer just internal. It is public, constant, and growing. And in Cleveland, pressure has never been just noise. It becomes expectation, and expectation becomes weight. As April progresses, the Browns' QB battle stops being a camp storyline and starts becoming a franchise identity question. Inside the Browns facility, the competition is not loud. It is quiet, but it is constant. Reports from the offseason sessions highlight a noticeable pattern. Shedeur Sanders consistently present, consistently engaged, and actively working through the new offensive system. That matters in a QB competition where presence is part of evaluation. Dillon Gabriel's participation appears less consistent in early offseason activity, adding another layer to the internal structure. Deshaun Watson's timeline remains part of ongoing discussion, but the focus inside the building is no longer on reputation. It is on who is stacking days, and that's where QB battles are truly won. Not in one moment, but in accumulation. Monken's approach reinforces this reality. He emphasizes that quarterbacks are not only judged on what they know, but what they can execute under coaching direction. He uses a powerful analogy during his media explanation, saying coaches shouldn't just teach history of a system, but how to fire it. That philosophy changes everything, because it removes comfort from learning and replaces it with performance-based urgency. Inside the QB room, that means every mistake becomes visible, every correction matters, every rep is graded without emotion, and that is where the tension builds silently. Watson carries the pressure of expectation, Shedeur carries the pressure of opportunity, and the Browns organization carries the pressure of decision-making, because at some point, evaluation must become commitment. And when that moment comes, everything shifts. As Cleveland moves deeper into OTAs, one reality becomes impossible to ignore. This quarterback battle is not just about 2026. It is about direction. Deshaun Watson represents the established era. Shedeur Sanders represents the emerging possibility. And Todd Monken represents the system that will decide which direction the Browns ultimately commit to. His approach is simple but unforgiving. Best player plays. No exceptions, no narratives, just results. And that is what makes this situation so explosive. Because every rep now feels like it carries long-term consequences. If Shedeur continues to show growth, consistency, and command, the conversation naturally shifts toward a future beyond development. If Watson reasserts dominance, the Browns stabilize under veteran control. But if neither fully separates, the decision becomes even more complicated. And that is the tension hanging over Cleveland right now. Not chaos, not collapse, but uncertainty with stakes. And in the NFL, uncertainty always leads to one thing: change. So as this QB battle continues through OTAs, minicamp, and training camp, the real question isn't just who starts week 1. It's something bigger. Is Cleveland building around the present or quietly preparing for a new future? Because right now, in April 2026, the answer is still being written one rep at a time. This QB battle in Cleveland is no longer about speculation. It is about evaluation under pressure, where every practice snap carries weight and every decision shapes the future of the franchise. And as Monken keeps rotating reps and demanding performance over reputation, one thing is clear: nothing in this quarterback room is guaranteed anymore. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications for more deep NFL storytelling just like this. Because in Cleveland, the QB battle is just getting started.